Welcome to Creator Upload, your creator economy podcast. I'm Lauren Schnipper.
And I'm Joshua Cohen. Lauren,
Yes.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
When's the last time you watched linear television?
Just 2 nights ago, I was watching my favorite show, Dancing with the Stars. It is back, baby. It is better than ever. I love it. It's like appointment viewing. I look forward to it every week. My dream is to be famous enough to go on Dancing with the Stars, which when I asked my dear friend Eliza Schlesinger, who is a pretty famous comedian, she was like, I kind of think you're famous enough to go on Dancing with the Stars, which I was like, that's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. Although I just think about like between the frozen shoulder and the back, I would be one of those people and like the confessionals, what do they call them? The interviews or whatever, and just be like, my shoulder, my toe, like, or just be terrible. The
Liza
blisters.
with a great Lauren Schnipper compliment and sick Dancing with the Stars burn
I mean,
at the same time.
wow. I think that's a burn to me, but go on.
And so your kids watch it with you too, or what's the deal? I think you were no screens.
Yeah, so I don't, as you know, unlike you, I don't let them watch screens during the week. So I was like, it's mommy's dancing show. It's back. If you guys get ready for bed, you can come watch it to me. And so everybody was psyched. They're like into it, like mommy's dancing show. And we didn't watch the whole thing because it's like an hour and a half. So I still have to go back. So I linear, but I'm still utilizing the recording function because
because you want to watch it later. Sorry to cut you off, but I just got excited about this.
Yeah.
On linear television, what's your platform you're watching it on?
we subscribe to Hulu,
So I'm what
which
I
has
like
gone
to
up in
call-
price. It's gotten expensive, by the way.
All of them have gone up in price, which is
Yeah.
why
Yes.
I decided to cut all of them. And I'm what I call now a linear television purist.
But like, are you not watching? No Netflix? You gotta have Netflix still.
Oh, I do have Netflix
You gotta have Netflix.
and Amazon
Yeah.
Prime
You gotta have Prime.
and
Really
YouTube
is.
Premium, but not YouTube TV. Because when I first subscribed to YouTube TV, it was $50 a month or like 45 or something several years ago. It's great. Now it's over $80 a month, which for $1,000 a year for the quantity of television that I consume doesn't quite make sense.
I
So
know. I know. Wait. For what's premium is just no ads, right?
Premium is just no ads on YouTube.
Right. Versus the TV, right? Well, I mean, George keeps wanting to cancel the Hulu because we really don't watch. But there's some like special like series and stuff that come on Hulu that I wouldn't get to watch if I didn't pay for it. But I subscribe to Peacock. I'm like a Peacock fan. I like love me some Peacock because I love SVU and I love like Dateline. But the truth of the matter is, I don't watch it that much. So I should unsubscribe to like all of these things.
Lauren, you should unsubscribe to all of these things and get yourself a pair of bunny ears.
We did do bunny ears several years ago, and here's the thing that people don't know about bunny ears, and because is the picture quality is actually really good on bunny ears.
You can get a digital antenna for like $35. It goes up on your wall. You might have to like hide it in some way if you want your wall to still look cool. I've done that a little bit. And you get, yes, totally, really crisp HD quality television through the airwaves. And it has been an amazing experience. That's why I wanted to bring it up.
Wow.
The maybe it's the nostalgia of it. I don't know. Maybe it's the seeming just temporal nature of the thing. But when Jeopardy comes on at 7, Wheel of Fortune comes on at 8, sometimes at 9 you can catch Family Feud. Depends on what other game show pops up. Last night we were watching MasterChef. And
you turn it on, and I tell my kids all the time, I was like, we just would have to turn on the TV and watch what was ever there.
And I think it creates this experience that I'm really enjoying with my family. I mean, we get a ton of screen time. Now we get collective community screen time in front of a television that you can't pause. During commercial breaks, you can talk to one another.
It's funny.
You can go get a snack. You can go to the bathroom.
Here's where I will agree with you. Like we don't have TV in the bedroom because again, we're not trying to watch TV all the time. But as a result, my kids don't, other than Dancing with the Stars, they don't really know what I watch, right? They don't really know what I like. The TV's not, whatever. And it's like, I sort of am making an argument that we should get a TV in the room to be like, this is my TV. You want to come in here, you're watching what I'm watching, so that my kids know that I like watch SNL, that I watch, sometimes I'll watch the news or whatever. It's like, how are we going to, sort of imprint make impressions on the kids and let them know what we like if I'm just letting them like pick, Phineas and Ferb every day on Netflix?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, so I'm like, I kind of get, like, I like that everybody has to decide. We try to do like a family movie night on like Friday night. So everybody has to like decide on a movie. Doesn't always happen, but I understand what that vibe. I appreciate, and I will give you that. I respect that, like trying to make like a family vibe as like we're all watching this thing and we watch it together, and then you can experience together. Yes, I get that.
And at a specific time, and where you have to kind of be more in the moment because
Yeah.
you can't stop it. I think it's been this incredible experience. And some of my best memories growing up with my parents were not all of
Related to
them, but some of them
screens.
were related to screens and some of the shows we
Related to
watched.
screens. This
My
is
dad,
all this all
my
makes
dad
sense
and I
now.
used to watch Get Smart and Quantum Leap. Get Smart the Nick at Night and
Quantum Leap was a
whenever it on.
great show.
It's
Quantum Leap was a
fantastic.
fantastic show. Look it up, kids. It was a fantastic show. I support this for you.
Thank you. I'm starting a
I'm here
trend.
for you. All right, before we get to our big story, what we're going to talk about, and Josh getting out of the house this week, I do want to mention that Jordan Matter is coming on today, and we're going to interview him about just the new launch, his daughter's product. It's amazing. We're so excited. Like thousands and thousands of people showed up at him all last week, and so we're going to get all the details around that. Josh, we have a lot to talk about. You once again shockingly got out of the house. Why? You went to YouTube's Made On, which is their sort of annual conference now. What, 3-4 years running? Maybe now. I think it's since COVID that they did this, right? Is that what if I'm not mistaken? I can't remember. But anyway.
Here's the quick history of how it came to be, Lauren. So YouTube used to be the title sponsor of VidCon. They still are the title sponsor of VidCon as of last year.
Mm-hmm.
At VidCon, they used to have this big keynote presentation where the CEO of YouTube would come up on stage and announce all of these different product launches and new ways that they're giving creators more control, more monetization
not
capabilities,
just YouTube.
and more.
Facebook, Meta, whatever you want to call it, YouTube used to be like the event that you had all these announcements sort of like tailored around. And then it was a big curve, a competition between platforms of like who's going to say their announcements when and how around VidCon. Yes.
It was a moment in the year that the companies in this ecosystem aligned to have all their product developments and announcements ready to go so they could capture the attention of everybody that was at VidCon and all the press and media that was there too.
Yes.
Then TikTok became the title sponsor.
Yes.
And when TikTok became the title sponsor, they did more of a dog and pony show at VidCon during their kind of keynote feature presentation.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly and nicely. Go on.
It was a missed opportunity for sure. And so YouTube's like, oh, we don't have this place and time to do this anymore. We got to come up with our own event. So that's when they started having Made On.
And this and the sort of behind the scenes tea of that is that it was sort of VidCon was waiting for YouTube to be like, okay, we're back on as the title sponsor, and they weren't kind of getting back to them because YouTube's just sort of like, that's not uncommon for people in these organizations to drag their feet because like there's a lot of bureaucracy, there's a lot of approvals, and they just kind of felt like they probably they don't have to rush. So they kept asking, weren't getting answers. And TikTok was like, we want to sponsor it. So they did. They took their thing and they accepted the sponsorship from TikTok, and YouTube was pissed. They were pissed. So then like the other side of the coin is that they were like, fine, we're going to do our own event, which in the long term really, I think, ultimately hurts VidCon because VidCon is no longer the place where people are going for the big announcements. And instead, for YouTube specifically, it is Made On, which was this week, Tuesday. And they made a ton of announcements around the big one, which I know you're going to talk a lot about, is dynamically inserted ads, tons of stuff around live and channel memberships. And there's just so much. But I feel like, you were there, Josh. Tell us the highlights. Tell us what you're excited about.
Lauren, to be clear, VidCon has been for the last several years, except for that 1 year where TikTok was the title sponsor of VidCon, and they do give a keynote presentation. It just doesn't have the same weight or gravitas.
It doesn't have the same weight.
And it's not filled with all these different kind of product announcements that they used to have at the same
I think that also like the platforms, and again, I'll speak about Meta too, because they're not really using it as a place for announcements either. I think it got so crowded with announcements. So then the comms people were like, we don't want to announce everything, irrespective of the whole VidCon TikTok, YouTube sponsorship sort of situation. Like the Metas of the world were just like, well, we don't want to fight with that. So we're going to just kind of they just realized they don't have to be beholden. The creator economy got like diverse and bigger, that they didn't have to like wait for this one event to do all this stuff. So as a result, unfortunately for VidCon, it's become like less significant as it relates to product announcements with platforms, etc., which is kind of not great in the long. Like ultimately, like, and I don't really blame VidCon, this is a whole other conversation, but like I don't really blame VidCon for taking the TikTok sponsorship because they were waiting for YouTube that wasn't coming through. But I think in the end, it really actually hurt the brand and hurt the whole conference. But like I don't know that like they had a choice really at the time. So
you can't
I don't know.
foresee these things. It's kind of also like I think this would have inevitably happened one way or the other. Apple did the same thing. Apple and Steve Jobs used to give big, huge keynotes at Macworld, which was this independent Macintosh conference that would happen every year. And then Apple just transitioned. They said, hey, we're not going to be at Macworld anymore. We're going to have this worldwide developers conference that we're going to own. We're going to control. We're going to get to decide when and where it is, who speaks, etc. It just makes more sense for a company moving forward.
Yep. So tell us about Made On. Tell us what happened.
Okay, so Lauren, there was, in short, a lot that happened at this event. And I usually don't say that, but there was a ton that took place here in terms of product announcements from a bunch of different teams and just PR announcements about how big, great, and grand YouTube is. We'll start with some of those. So YouTube said that it has paid out more than $100 billion to creators, artists, and media companies in the last 4 years. That's since January 2021 through December 2024. Over 60 million videos have been auto-dubbed across 20 languages as of August 2025. YouTube has this new auto-dubbing feature where it can automatically dub the audio in your video. And they revealed this other new AI feature where it's actually going to change how your lips and mouth move to match the auto-dub. Fascinating. It looks great.
Wow.
YouTube Studio has over 30 million creators using it every month. Creators have run over 15 million experiments since the thumbnail A/B testing feature launched in 2023. In the past 12 months, the number of YouTube channels that earned 6 figures in US dollars or more in revenue from TV screens is up 45% year over year.
Yep,
I kind of hate those stats. Like,
why?
Of course it's up. Well, just because we don't know what the starting point is.
Truth. Keep going.
On average, over 30% of daily logged in YouTube viewers watched live content in Q2 2025 alone. I thought this was fascinating. So it's saying 30% of daily YouTube viewers interact with live content in some capacity. I'm guessing the threshold for interaction with live content, as denoted in the stat, is very low. Like maybe they scrolled by it, maybe they watched it for a second, but still, it shows that live content on YouTube is definitely a thing. YouTube also said users consume over 100 million hours of podcasts every day, and more than 30% of those hours starting as a live stream or premiere. Could also be where YouTube gets a lot of those live streaming numbers from. YouTube Shopping's gross merchandise value has grown 5x year over year from Q2 2024 to Q2 2025. Again, it's an increase from what? Who knows? But it's on the up and up. And there are more than 500,000 creators enrolled in YouTube Shopping globally as of July 2025. So those were the key press highlights that they wanted to get out. Then they had over 30 plus other product announcements in a bunch of different categories, including AI creation tools for shorts, a new suite of tools in YouTube Studio, live streaming updates, other tools for podcasters, ways to connect artists and fans, musical artists and fans, more ways to earn with shopping and brand deals. For me, and I think for lots of creators and just the general public who cares about this stuff, the most compelling piece of product development news came in that later category, more ways to earn with shopping and brand deals. Specifically, this new development that starting in the early part of 2026, YouTube is going to roll out a small test with creators about dynamic ad insertion. What does this mean? It means that creators will be able to swap in and out sponsored video segments within their individual videos.
So basically, it's like if you have a show on linear television that might be a rerun in Seinfeld from the 90s, you're not going to see commercials from the 90s. You're going to see new commercials, correct?
Exactly. That's perfectly right. Where did you get that analogy from? That's a genius analogy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Whoever came up with that analogy should win, I don't know, just like prizes.
The LinkedIn Post Award. You don't get a post for the fucking award for posting on LinkedIn one time like a goddamn year. Go on. Congratulations,
So,
Josh.
Lauren, that's exactly right. So there's a ton of sponsorship activity going on YouTube at any given time. There's thousands of videos a week that are uploaded with a branded segment included in the video. We're not talking about ads. We're not talking about TrueView. We're talking about burned into the video file. There's a portion of it that says like, hey, thanks for watching. You should go subscribe to HelloFresh. They're great. And then a 30-second read for HelloFresh or 60-second read or whatever it is. For not just HelloFresh, but a growing list of thousands of different brands. And what would happen in the past is that segment would be burned into your video file. And 7 years from now, people would be seeing the same ad in that video whenever they watched it.
Correct. Not a great experience.
Potentially not a great experience for the creator and the viewer. Fantastic experience for the brand because they get this long tail of viewership on YouTube that doesn't exist on any other given platform. And if you talk with brands that have been doing this for a while, they will tell you that they still get conversions from videos that were uploaded 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. And also, we work and know a lot of the sponsorship activity that happens on YouTube through our data platform, Gospel Stats. You can check it out at gospelstats.com. Talking with a bunch of these brands that have done this, they will tell you that a good portion, maybe upwards of 20, 30% of the conversions and sales that they get happen from videos that are like 90 days old or older. So brands love it.
And that's the trick also, like, you know, people talk about like how you make money on YouTube and like, fortunately, unfortunately, whatever, it's a numbers game. And like the bigger your library content, the more, you know, sort of money you make. And so people are watching these older videos. And so you should have ads that are relevant to folks that might watch that video years, months, whatever, after it was initially released.
There is a fear that those ads could not be relevant anymore. What creators have been doing is they've been incorporating timeframes into the deals that they do with these brands so that they can trim out. YouTube does let you trim out certain pieces of the video later. It doesn't let you add any things, but people would trim out these sponsor video sections. And so what's going to happen in the future is YouTube's giving people the ability to trim out and then insert, swap whatever they want into these areas that they have in their videos. Even if you didn't have a portion of your video in your content library that had a sponsorship area, you can actually go back and insert it too. And what this means is that the same moment in a video can host multiple brands over time, and that these back catalogs are basically these living assets that aren't locked up, the renewable inventory for creators.
Yeah.
Which I think is going to have potentially immediate and huge implications for this industry. Basically, at first, it's going to allow brands to buy more inventory at larger scales and also go to market with fresher campaigns. But it turns all of these YouTubers into basically media companies.
Yeah.
They were before to a certain extent, but now even more so, where they have their own inventory that they can sell. So if you can go and sponsor one Cleo Abram video for whatever several thousand, tens of thousands of dollars that costs, that's great for Cleo Abram. Presumably great for the brand if they want to spend that money. But now if you can buy Cleo Abram's whole catalog for 3 months, like that just puts it on a totally different level and different buckets of media dollars that didn't exist to creators before.
Yeah, no, it's true. And it's also like something to be said about like the spotters of the world who bought all these back catalogs. Now they have sort of like, they become more valuable, like they could sell them in like, they could sell them in different ways, which I think is really interesting.
It could be potentially really lucrative for spotter if that was incorporated into their deals and it makes sense for them to do it for sure.
Right. But the thing is, the truth of the matter is, I spoke with an executive that shall not be named in our industry, and we were talking a bit about this yesterday, and he's like, yeah, the problem is they're nowhere close to like this actually being live. They've not tested it. They haven't built it. It's not real. And in fact, this person cited that like last year it made on YouTube announced shows, and like that hasn't launched yet. So the question I have is like, when is this going to actually happen? Because it's not happened yet. It's not this person works with creators that are ostensibly in the beta testing, and they haven't even built it yet. They haven't even done any beta testing around it.
Well, they're saying early 2026 they're going to start to roll out with a small group of creators.
We'll see. It was really interesting too, because this person cited that like they met somebody fairly recently who was working on this, and they were talking about how this has existed in podcasting and audio for a long time, and they were like, "What do you mean?" And like, this is somebody at YouTube. So it's just, True story.
Yeah,
So
dynamic ad insertion has been a staple of podcasts for a
correct.
while
Yes.
now.
Yes.
It basically comes from the platform side where you upload a podcast to Spotify, you put ads on it. Spotify is going to dynamically insert ads into breaks in that podcast. So if I downloaded the episode 3 months ago, I could get and hear different ads, host-read ads or not, than if you download the episode today.
Correct. So this is not a new technology, but it's new to be, with YouTube, obviously. And it could be great and it's awesome. But like, I wouldn't hold your breath at this. I think this will happen. I just don't know that's going to happen early 26. Like, they haven't even beta tested it yet. Like, they haven't
No,
done
I think it's going to be for a while. But also, if you were lucky enough to be invited among the select group of people who were at the
it's
event,
just
and you could
one day,
see,
man.
and you could see
The good thing about when Josh goes to events, all people do is ask him where I am. So it like makes
zero
me feel
people ask me where Lauren
like
was.
literally, because what's his favorite bit? His favorite bit. Tell him your favorite bit. So we're gonna role play, right? So I'm not me, but I'm like, hey Josh, like where's Lauren?
We're not talking anymore.
That's his favorite bit.
But I don't want to bring that out into the universe anymore. So I'm going to say she's fantastic from now on.
We're not speaking anymore. Yeah.
I've leveled up and going into Q4 of 2025.
Great. No, we all appreciate your leveling up. We really
So,
do.
Lauren, if you were at the event and you saw Neil Mohan talk about this, he maybe was the most emphatic and effusive about the importance of this particular component of YouTube coordinating more deals and sponsorship between creators on the platform and the brands in the marketplace than he was about anything else. So not only are they doing this sponsorship swapping, but he said they're also going to have more live events curated by YouTube that brings brands and sponsors together. And Neil was asked, are you going to eventually take a cut of this? And he responded with, do you want me to? Which I thought was a pretty good jab from him. Basically, maybe in the future, distant future, I think YouTube would maybe get a portion of these brand deals. But what they basically want to do is they just want to get more brands incorporated into the ecosystem and give them tools to show the efficacy of how great it is to work with creators. Because if they are able to show that in a meaningful capacity and make it easy for brands to see the benefits and the ROI and the click-through rates and everything else from these different sponsorship deals, then it's going to be a lot easier to tell the brands, hey, you should back this up with some media. You should boost this post. You should do some TrueView ads. You should get on YouTube shopping more. Put your content up, put your products up there as well. There are lots of ways that this benefits YouTube, even if they're not taking a cut of this, but they're getting just more brands into the ecosystem and inserted into this space that then YouTube can make a lot of money from them in other places.
Yeah, of course.
And to your point, who knows when this will actually launch? They're saying early 2026. If you look at YouTube's track record, maybe it'll take a little bit longer. Also, it brings up some questions like, if I pay for YouTube Premium and I skip ads, am I going to be able to skip these sponsorship ads?
I don't know.
Like, if YouTube knows the point in time where these ads happen in the video, what does that mean for its relationship with premium subscribers? And then also, do these spots then compete with the TrueView ads that are on YouTube and the different types of display advertising there? It raises some interesting questions. Also with compliance, if I'm a brand, am I going to have to go check if my ads are still up when they're supposed to be per the terms of the contract?
Right.
All these little idiosyncrasies
can
surface for how this is actually going to take place and what needs to be thought of for it to be a very smooth and successful and fruitful launch for all.
Well, excited once again that you left the house and that you were going to places and you got invited somewhere. I mean, these are all big things, and for YouTube's
huge things
announcements.
For me. Yes, huge things for me.
Huge
things for us, Lauren. Huge things
for us. For us. Like, please,
Yeah.
what's yours is mine. I mean, come on. Okay, so next up, we have an interview with Jordan Matter. We're so excited to hear all about he and his daughter, Salish Matter's skincare launch and how they actually packed the mall in Josh's basically town. And so Josh couldn't even get in. So very excited to hear all about that.
Jordan, so stoked for you to be on Creator Upload again. I believe this is your second time on the cast. Welcome back.
Thank you so much.
So for those in the audience that may not know, I don't know how you couldn't, but Jordan Matter is a photographer, filmmaker, and YouTube creator with over 32 million subscribers on his main channel, over 12 billion views. Once known for his signature kind of like 10-minute photo challenge series and other different photography-oriented videos. including creative dance photography, has now, over the past several years, worked with your children, especially Salish. You also have Hudson, who now does a YouTube consultancy that I hear is going well. But
Yes.
works with your daughter Salish on the channel, doing different storytelling and kind of vlogs, and to great success. I mean, you have your average long form videos getting anywhere from like 4 million to 20, 30 million views recently, which is just absolutely incredible. Puts you in the top upper echelon of YouTube creators in terms of viewership. You also, I think, will be one of the first people to tell people that on famous birthdays, your daughter Salish Matter has been the #1 celebrity on famous birthdays for what, 2, 3 years running now?
I think maybe it's been 2 years by now. Yeah.
Which is no short feat. Salish birthdays is kind of like a Wikipedia for Gen Z, and its rankings are determined by search activity on the site. So lots of people want to know when your daughter's birthday is and some more info about her. And now I think that has manifested in this like real world kind of tangible manifestation of that audience in this skincare launch you all had at the American Dream Mall here in East Rutherford, New Jersey, which is about 6 minutes away from my house. I want to really dive into it. Reports of upwards of 87,000 people showed up to this event, but I really want to get into it and how that event came to be and what it was like. First, I want to take a step back. Tell us about this product and kind of how it came to be.
Your audience, since they all understand the inside on YouTube, that I would be remiss if I didn't correct you on your number in terms of views per video. So you said 4 to 20. 4 would be the first day, but we averaged about 40 million views per video over the first year of the video. I kind of had to say that, even though I sound
of course, please, that's awesome.
But okay, we're just very, very proud of the viewership that we've been able to build over the years. So my daughter and I decided to launch a skincare company, and we built that out with our CEO Julia Strauss and dermatologist and a teen advisory board because obviously I'm sure you know that there's been a lot of news about how Gen Alpha, Gen Z are using skincare products that aren't good for them. It's breaking out their skin, it's irritating their skin, and yet the options for their skin, CeraVe and such, weren't really so fun to use, so they weren't really using them, and instead using more expensive and bad for their skin products. So we decided to create a product that is both fun to use, cool, affordable, and really good for their skin. No harmful ingredients. And we started that long journey about 2 years ago, and then we launched last week, and it's called Sincerely Yours, and it's exclusively at Sephora.
And so what was that initial spark about, like, we want to do this thing?
The spark was not to create a product. We've never been looking to create a product or to monetize our audience. We've been doing videos together over 5 years. We've never sold anything. We've never done a paywall. We've never had a paid meet and greet. We've never done anything. It's all just free content. But we did see this opportunity to do something that we thought would be a great direction for our audience. I think it's really important if you're a creator and you have opportunities, and we've had a lot of them, to select ones that will actually benefit your audience rather than looking for something that you just think will sell. And we realized that tweens and teens are going to use skincare anyway. The question is, will they use the skincare that's good for their skin, or will they use something that's bad for their skin? We wanted to create something that's good for their skin and build good, healthy habits for skincare, and to encourage them to use SPF. So that's what the product is. And it started because Salish has sensitive skin, and especially when she was younger, very sensitive, not acne prone, but irritated. If she didn't use exactly the right moisturizer and cleanser, her face would get very, very red and irritated. And so did her friends. And then you start reading about it en masse. This is a thing where the skin is developing, and it's really important to use the right products. So once I saw, there was a very specific moment where we were at a hotel, and her skin just started getting red because she didn't have her proper cleanser and moisturizer. We were driving all around looking for one, and it was at that moment I realized this is a real issue. And then when we finally got the thing, she's like, "Oh, I'll get it, but God, that's so boring." Right? Because they like to have an experience, especially when you're pre-makeup. You know, you want to have this fun experience with using different skincares, and obviously the skincares that a lot of these kids were using just were terrible for their skin. And we wanted to solve that problem, make it fun and cool enough that they would actually be excited to use it.
And so from inception to launch, about 2 years, kind of take us through the major kind of milestones in those 2 years.
The big milestone was finding Julia Strauss, our CEO. That was a huge thing and not an easy thing. She was the CEO of Tula, which is a skincare company that exited, and then went to Sweaty Betty in London, which is the Lululemon of the UK, and was the CEO there. Very extremely good. And also, she has tween daughters who were suffering from this exact same issue. So it was a symbiotic relationship. Once we met, it really took off, but that was not that long ago. That was about a year ago. We had been working on it for about 6 months in the background, Salish and I, with investors and other people, just getting a lay of the land. And then Julia brought on dermatologists. We put together a teen advisory board of about 30 teens. And then we also have an email list of about 60,000 teens and tweens. And we would just share every phase of this with them to get their input, because we really wanted to be teen skincare by teens for teens. Salish was obviously integral throughout, but we also really leaned on the advisory board.
And how did you aggregate that list of the smallest of advisors and the bigger list of 60, 80,000 teens?
The bigger list we put out there via our YouTube description.
Mm-hmm.
So we just said, if you want to, well, first it was join a text thread. And then we asked some people if they wanted to branch off and be skincare advisors. And then the smaller list of teens, we wanted to just get a cross pollination of different, from different areas. So we would ask people if they have teens or tweens who love skincare, and what region are they in, what's their socioeconomic class, so we can kind of get a diversity. There was one time where we pulled into a high school. My production manager and I pulled into a high school at night to scout a location. I got out. It just so happened that there were these 10 dancers, all from high school, that saw me, and they knew me from my dance photography days. They started asking for photos, and then my production manager said, "Hey, do you want to be on a teen advisory board? Do you like skincare?" And so we got like 5 of them, right? So it's very,
it's great.
It was very grassroots the way we did it.
And so about a year and a half, 2 years from like conception of the idea to launch, was that incredibly fast? Was that slow for this? Like, was that on par?
It's very fast. We met, so because the big thing is, are you going to go with a retailer, and who?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it DTC?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that whole process is very eye-opening. We were waiting on an opportunity to meet with Sephora. We knew that we wanted to be in Sephora, obviously, because that's the Sephora kids, because it's an incredibly great company, and because we saw a white space there. They didn't seem to have much in terms of the teen skincare market. And they were having some issues with people using Drunk Elephant, and we felt like they might want to address that with a younger brand for teens, made by teens. So we started, really going after them, and we had some connections there, and we got a meeting, and we had to wait a while after the presentation for their decision. And then when they finally signed on, we really accelerated. But by then it was, I can't remember the dates, but I'm sure it was late 24 or early 25. And we knew we were going to get on the shelves in early September. So to get all that packaging and product tested and put together, and how many do you order, right? How many units do you order, and how many is Sephora going to order, and how many should we have on backup, and what if we sell out but we don't want to have overstock? Julia is the one to talk to you about the specifics of that, because she runs all that, but we would talk about it a bit. It's very complicated.
And so I feel like the playbook used to be launch your own brand,
right?
D2C. And then eventually, like, once that does well, you'll get into a Sephora, you'll get into some other retails and brick and mortar shops. Why was the playbook different for you all?
It was a double-edged sword. We had a presence online, obviously, and the audience that lined up with this product. But also, influencer brands have been known to not do well often. And I think that's because often influencers try to do a quick cash grab, and they jump in, they do something real quick, and and it's not thought out, it's not personal to them. They do it too many times. So I believe, and I can't speak for Sephora, but I believe they might have been a little hesitant initially because it was an influencer brand. Once we did the pitch, however, and we knew that DTC might be an option, but we really, really wanted to go with Sephora. We weren't even thinking about Ulta or Target or anything. We just like Sephora or bust.
Yeah.
And so we put all our stuff, and I remember a couple of compelling moments in the presentation. One was we showed these 2 TikTok scrolling live scrolling TikToks, one that had Salish's name in it and one that were videos of Salish. And they were just scrolling endlessly.
Yeah.
And then I said, but Salish isn't on TikTok.
Yeah.
So her relevance was so significant that there were endless streams of TikTok related to Salish, and she wasn't even creating any of them. So that was the first thing. And then the second thing, which I think was really impactful, was when the booking agent asked me, why would your product succeed when Ariana Grande's failed? And I said, are you an Ariana Grande fan? She said, yes. I said, okay, what's the color of her bedroom? What's her best friend's name? What's her dog's name? And that, I think, represents the distinction between celebrities and influencers, especially creators who do long form content and build up a relationship with the audience. Every week for the past 5 years, every week we've posted on Saturday, 7 a.m. every week. And we invite them into our home and they see our dynamics and they get to know Salish and her friends. And I feel like they feel very connected to her and her life and they trust her. So if she says that there's a product that she uses, our premise was they would give it a shot. And if we created a good enough product, they would keep using it.
Yeah, my friend Brandon Gann has this great quote that he picked up from someone else, but he says, nothing kills a bad product faster than great marketing. And I think that's been the experience with lots of influencer brands.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. And, usually you can, if you've got a presence, you can launch something. By the way, we had absolutely no idea. There's different kinds of audiences. There's the algorithm hack audience where you can get 100 million views on a video because you get retention, but they don't really feel connected to you. There's scenes are so quick, they don't know anything about you. It's just, it's very entertaining. Then there's the, very, very committed core niche audience where there's not a ton of them, but if you launch something, they're going to get it because they love you. And then there's that in between. And we were hoping we fell in that in between where you have kind of a vlog style audience in terms of their passion for you, but you're able to create content that can be universal. So you can also get a lot of views. Usually a lot of views means a decrease in commitment to you, ironically. But I think we've been able to build the kind of videos where we can do both intentionally.
It's very interesting. And so kind of this all culminates in this launch event at the Sephora store at the American Dream Mall in East Rutherford, New Jersey, which has kind of made a name for itself. I think it's the second biggest mall after the Mall of America.
Exactly. They own both of them.
In terms of square footage. And it has a water park, theme park,
action park, Ninja Kids.
Ninja Kids just launched something there, a ski slope, and has become this kind of place where I think they've realized the power of influencers and creators, and they kind of cultivated this relationship. It started with Mr. Beast launching his first physical Beast Burger location at the mall a few years ago. And then with your event being the most recent, I mean, what were your expectations leading into the event? And then tell us how it turned out.
Well, okay, so I think it's a very interesting video. The last video we posted last Saturday called I'm Sorry. Anybody that's interested to know the behind the scenes of how this went down, please watch it. We were off camera. I mean, Salish hoped 100 people would come. Off camera, I was hoping from anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000. But I thought,
can I cut you off right there? Yeah. So I always hear this about creators saying we didn't realize how many people would come.
Yes,
I just want to press you on this a little bit.
Yeah,
I've seen you on stage talk about what, and you just went through some of your pitches talking about what an incredible audience you and Salish both have.
Yes.
And the rabid fan base.
Uh-huh.
And so then when you say you're hoping maybe 1,000 people show up, I'm like, come on, man.
No, this is not for effect. I promise you. The thing is, it's one thing to create content that gets views. You don't know when people come up to you and say, can I get a photo? Or if they watch your video, you don't know if that's casual viewership or if it's committed viewership. But in order to get somebody to come to a mall to see you, to stay in line, you have to have a connection with them that we hadn't tested. Other than watching the videos, we had no idea how committed people would be to us. We've never done it, literally never done it. We've done a couple of meet and greets at VidCon. They bring the people in themselves. And then we had done one thing because Salish was working with Moose Toys. So a couple weeks earlier, we'd done one thing. She had posted about it. I think about 50 to 100 people showed up. So that was kind of our awareness, right? This is an abstract location in New Jersey. We had legitimately no idea. Now, of course, psychologically, There's an aspect of people that say, I want to downplay it so I'm not disappointed.
100%.
Right? So of course that's playing into it, but you don't know how much of that is like your mind doing you tricks or what you really believe. But I know for a fact, because we talked about it all the time, Salish was like, there's absolutely no way 1,000 people will come to see me. Why would they even care? I am not like, she just doesn't get any of the hype, right? So I would say, and this is not just us either. This is Sincerely Yours, the team. Everybody was looking, was looking like what's feasible, and we really thought 5,000. And I to this day, right now, will say if 5,000 people come to see us at our next event, that would be remarkable. That would be so cool. We only had 5,000 products to give, but that's what we were prepared for, and that was upper end. Okay, so I'm just saying that was real. When we got there on Friday night to rehearse and to look around the mall and to kind of get a sense of what we're going to do, there were already 100 people waiting outside to get in, and that was at 7 p.m. That's when we started thinking, okay, wait, now this is actually real. What ended up happening by the next morning, again, watch the video, it's crazy. By the next morning, by 6 a.m. the next morning, the entire atrium of, I think, 5,000 to 7,000 spaces was already filled up.
Wow.
There was about 20,000 people there. There were about 5,000 people in the parking lot. There was a line on the highway so long that it blocked traffic. They had to redirect traffic to the football stadium next because they took off all the parking in the American Dream Mall. It was insanity. And it turned out by the end of the day, 87,000 people had shown up. And that was the biggest event they'd ever had by far, including the Beast Burger, Jonas Brothers concerts, Tom Brady, everything.
That's incredible. And so what has been the aftermath of this?
Well, there was two aftermaths. One, there were 87,000 people there.
Yeah.
We had 5,000 units for the pop-up, maybe 5 to 7. You'd have to ask really exactly. And we had 500 people that had signed up to do a meet and greet, the first few hundred in line, and plus some we gave away online. We had said, we're going to stay all night. I don't care. Salish doesn't care. We're going to meet as many of them as we can. We wanted them to block off spaces, go high fives. Thank you for being here. We could not believe it. The local police, the state police actually, took over the mall because there was such pandemonium. And it became a very unsafe situation. They brought in 100 off-duty police officers, and they completely shut us out. They put us out in the back and wouldn't let us come out again. They took us out through a back way with a police escort. They announced that we were gone, and it was a super big bummer for a lot of people. So it went from euphoria to like heartache because we felt so bad that we just had to leave and we couldn't see everybody. That was the downside. Now, starting the next day, people had saw all this stuff on TikTok and went very viral outside of our community. Just general people like, who's Salish? What's Sincerely? What is this about? What is this say about the state of the world? There's been a lot of opinions about whether this whole thing was an awesome reflection on the power of influencers and the relationship they have to the audience, or what the heck is going on in our world. Right? There's everything in between.
And so what's next for Sincerely Yours?
It's sold out of Sephora. It's being stocked on all the shelves now. We are continuing to promote it and continue to encourage people to give it a try. We've been sending out a lot of free product to everybody that as many people as we can find that had that experience at the mall. We've been sending them free stuff, free hoodies, free product. And we're just building, we still look at ourselves as a startup. We only have 6 employees and trying to build day to day, because I think it's one thing to launch. You launch based on the relationship you have with your audience.
Yeah.
The staying power comes from the product itself.
100%.
I believe in the product, and there isn't anything else like it out there. So we want to just continue to build a consumer slowly that sees the benefits of the product and continues to use it. So now we're in the long haul. We had the exciting moment. We had the visual of 87,000 people there. It got a lot of press. It's been very exciting. Salish has interviews with Glamour, Teen Vogue, and Wall Street Journal in the next couple of days. And she's like, oh my God, can I get some media training? Like, wait, I'm 15, dude. Wall Street Journal, Teen Vogue. So yeah, so it's super exciting. And we're just continuing to move on and try to build a really great company.
Well, Jordan, I know you got to get Salish to school. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. You can find Jordan Matter and Salish at Jordan Matter on YouTube. And anywhere else?
Well, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube are our primary platforms.
Thank you again for being here. Best of luck. Really excited to watch how this plays out and hope it goes well for everybody.
Thanks so much.
Jordan, thank you once again for being on the podcast. I always love having him on because he's just so thoughtful about the industry and his place within it as a content creator, as the dad of a content creator who can command an audience of 87,000 live in-person real people to show up to a brick and mortar retail store for a shot at buying a new skincare product that hopefully is better than all the other ones they've used before. Lauren and I also talked with him about all of this in the previous episode of Creator Upload. You should definitely go check it out. He's just incredibly thoughtful and takes his position very seriously. The position of, again, a content creator and father of incredibly successful content creators. And just his kind of like honest like struggle with that and how he moves through that on a day-to-day basis and makes sure that, you know, that the kids are going to be okay. Go check it out if you haven't. It's a fantastic one.
All right, Josh. Do you have any uploads and downloads? I have one. Can I go first?
Yeah, let's hear it, please.
It's an upload and a download. I don't know if you heard. I don't know if you're around any moms in their, maybe very early 40s, but we're all watching The Summer I Turned Pretty, and the finale happened this week. And I just want to say thank you to the internet for all of the memes associated with this unbelievable story about first loves. I don't really know. The download is I don't know what I'm going to do with my life now that the show is over. It ended in Paris. She got a bob. Like, I'm thinking about cutting my hair. Like, there's a lot going on right now. And I just want to thank the internet for all of the memes about it. And they're literally, people are so violently obsessed with this story that like Amazon had to like put out a statement being like, can we all be nice to each other? These actors are just actors. Like, stop being mean to them. You might be Team Conrad or Team Jeremiah. I'm obviously Team Conrad, like not even a competition. But like, can we not, like, the people are like abusing the actual actors that play these characters on TV. And so like, can people just calm down? But also, it's a really good show.
People have been doing that for years. I heard Jason Alexander give a talk at the University of Arizona when I was in high school. And he said after his stint on Pretty Woman, people would spit at him on the street.
So that is an old reference. So Jason Alexander, of course, played George Costanza on Seinfeld, but he played in Pretty Woman, the amazing Julia Roberts breakout in the early 90s. He played this real asshole in the movie, and he was good. He was really good. He was terrible. So and so I feel like I knew that. I feel like I've seen that. And so people were terrible to him. But like, people like need to calm down.
Definitely. Lauren, and when you say all the memes and stuff, has it been clipped online and just put all over the place?
So the premise, not to give everything away, but it's like these brothers, and then they have a very close family friend they spend all summer with in Cousins Beach, which is basically like, a mock, like a fake like Cape Cod town. And it's a love triangle between these brothers. And so she's going out with one, and she goes with the other, and she gets engaged, and then they break up. It's a whole thing. And it's just like a hot mess. So there's this guy, I think he's pronounced his name Yayan. I don't think that he is American. And he did this whole post about like basically like pretending he was like best friends with the girl and just like being like, so it's like really weird because she was like going out with the other one, and then like he went with the other one, and so like I know it's crazy, but like, and she's only had sex with the two of them. I only heard that because like I can't. It's so good, it's so funny, and I can't handle it. And I love the internet and the internet's a terrible place except when it's amazing. Like right now, all of the content around The Summer I Turned Pretty is golden. And so it's memes, it's fan edits, it's people doing bits about it. It's like, it's just everything. And every lady of a certain age, and that's been a whole thing too about like, why is this appealing to like all of us that are like perhaps a bit older than the characters in this? It's bringing up, it's giving, as the kids say, a lot of Dawson's Creek with the love triangles. So if like that was your jam back in the day, like you're feeling that, it's very nostalgic. I'm here for it. It's also like, what I love about it is it's like unapologetically about people with money. It's like, she's going abroad. They have fancy houses. Like, can we just enjoy this and not judge it and be like, not everybody, for those that can afford it. It's like, no, I don't have a fancy. Do you have a fancy summer house that I can go to? No, you don't. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like but like, let's all dream. Let's like have things to aspire to. I mean, it's just all the good in the world.
I'm glad you have this, Lauren, and the people like you have this.
Thank you.
I think it's going to be interesting to read the Vulture story in 3 months, talking about how all of the clippings and different types of memes you're seeing around this were seeded by the producers in the network, which is an increasing phenomenon.
By the way, good. So the founder, the creator of the show, Jenny Han, is like, she's like, it's interesting. I've had all the conversations with a friend who's also obsessed, and I was like, do you think Jenny Han is like in on, like, what's the, because people go deep with the conspiracies about where the music cues are and the colors they're wearing, and it's like, I'm like, sometimes I'm like, I feel like Jenny Han's probably like, can you guys like calm down? She's just wearing a red shirt. Like, you know what I mean? And so like my friend was sort of like saying like, I think that she's in on it, but she's also just like a fan and like watching these people, and then she's feeding into their shit. So it's just
100%.
That's great.
The relationship between network television shows or streaming television shows and the internet is just becoming closer and closer and closer aligned as these different shows, producers, networks, platforms rely on the power of clipping and all these different memes to really drive inspiration
it's also
and
like
an audience.
And she and this is actually, you know, just to zoom out, this is actually a masterclass in how to work with that. She, at the end of the finale, literally had on screen a handwritten note from herself saying like, thank you to the fans, and like, thank you for doing this, and it is without you, and like, by the way, I think we'll see you again. And then of course it was announced right after the finale that they're going to do a full-length feature film. So like, thank God, this isn't it.
That's really nice.
Thank you. All right, Josh. I think we did it.
Lauren, I think that's it. I'll see you trying to get the fans encouraged and just so stoked about Mommy's dancing show.
Mommy's, thank God. By the way, thank God Dancing with the Stars has just started, because like now at least I have like something to do. You know what I mean?
Is that handle available? You should go for it, Lauren.
Mommy's dancing show? I'll look.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look into that. Thank you.
Before we post, I want to see you on it with a couple memes.
Goodbye.
And if not there, next week on Creator Upload. Today's show was produced by Lauren Schnipper, Joshua Cohen, that's me, and Adam Connor. It's edited by Adam Connor too. Original music is by London Bridge. You can check him out on Instagram at London Bridge Music. Make sure you subscribe to Creator Upload right here on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, as well Spotify, or wherever you're listening. While you're there, give us a rating and leave us a comment. If you want to talk, hit us up at info@creatorupload.com. If you like our show, recommend it to a friend. If you love it, just tell everyone. Thanks for listening to Creator Upload, and we will be back next week.